And we should be live. Welcome. And finally, I have here my Italian friend, visual effect supervisor, a master on Twitter. I'm really glad to have him here. I think it's one of the people closer to me in the world. So we will meet soon. We'll also take a picture and we'll take an NFT out of that, of course. So we are here. We are here to talk about Web3, but we will start really from the basics. Let me show, because we have already a lot of people. Hey, let's go, let's do it. What is Web3? I think we will answer, at least in this live stream. Hey guys, no,
Hey there.
that's not a stupid question. You are in the right place. Please answer to the poll, because we have a lot of Jon Snow level Web3 people. I'm going to explain what Jon Snow is. And a lot of people are really rooting for you. Udai H is the master of the people that are watching. Hey there, like this video. That's a very good idea. Kartik, hey there, my favorite moderator. Hey, so hey, thank you for your support. He's also always in my live streams. Web3 from Vitto. What about how he 4x his followers in a month? It depends on the starting of the month, because if you have 3, if you have 12,
it's pretty easy, isn't it?
How are you? How are you, Vitto? How are you? Tell me something about yourself.
So, hey there, everybody. So glad to be here. Thank you for hosting me. I'm Vitto. Some of you know me, some of you doesn't. I was a VFX supervisor, as Frost said. So I was working in the entertainment industry. I was doing special effects for the cinema. And then I started working as a R&D developer. So I was working with virtual reality and augmented reality, and I started developing from there. So C++, C#, a lot of C-like languages. And the thing is that if you're a developer in the Suhail, Amer, I think is the name. Yeah.
Yes.
And too many informations all around. I have 3 monitors at the moment, one with you, Fra, and the other with the chat, the other one with Twitter. So if I look a bit confused, it's because I am. As I was saying, I used to work as a R&D developer as well. But if you work as a developer in the entertainment industry, revenue, wages are not like just the same as a web developer, right? So I decided to resign. What is Web3? Yeah, I'm going to reply to this question a lot of times today.
Of course, we are here for this. That's the reason why the Web3 is also with a different color on the thumbnail. So stay here. Let's stay with us, because I don't know
Chris.
So Chris, you're always welcome. You can also jump in the live stream if you want. Hey there, found it. Sorry to interrupting you, Vitto, but this is because people love you. So now you get what you deserve. Nice.
No worries.
Web3 to the moon. Yes. Okay, so Vitto, yes, I'm really interested into what you are saying. Please go on. And I've seen some very cool pictures of yourself with some super green screen. So this is so small compared to that. I should have probably put that up and put some visual effect, but I don't know.
It was like a 25 square meters green screen, the one you're referring to. It was huge. Yeah, because the thing is that I started working as a VR AR developer, and then I moved into this like super niche thing called DigiDoubles. So the thing is that not every time you have an actor on a set, you can hire a stuntman because they're super expensive, or sometimes you just need a younger version of the same actor. So you use a DigiDouble. So we were doing photogrammetry scans of people, rigging them, animating them, using those things called mocap technologies. So you have cameras all around and you capture people's movements and then you rebuild them in 3D. The thing is that there is a lot of coding involved in this thing because there are a lot of people working together, and you need to bring some organization. And to bring organization, you need tools, and you can't use Jira for 3D models because a scene can, weight around 50 gigabytes. Try to upload a file of 50 gigabytes on Jira to ask for a review. It won't work. But other than that, I resigned. Hey, Akash, nice to see you here.
And just let me tell you something. I don't know if that's also for you, but in Italy, when you resign, you are seen like the traitor of the Italy.
Yeah.
Because this also has been my case, because both of my parents are teachers. So when I said, okay, I want to quit my job, the European Space Agency, they haven't talked to me for like a week. Now they are now it's different, but it's strange. It's strange in Italy when you why should you resign? Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. And the thing is that to resign, it took me 2 months because it was a war. Like I resigned, I sent my letter, and then the CTO called me saying, "No, you can't." And I was like, "What do you mean? No, you can't because blah blah blah. I can give you more money. You can work less. You can do whatever you want." Actually, and I was like, "No, the thing is not that I want more money. It's just I want to resign and do my stuff, learn new things." And it was super surprised. As I said, I was like the traitor in this story. But it was the best decision I've ever taken in my life because I subscribed to the university again in Scotland from Italy. I'm losing. Where are all those comments, Francesco? I'm seeing
Comments
comments appearing on the stream,
comments
but I
are
can't
in
see
the
them on
comment
YouTube.
section, or you can just go on the live on YouTube. I can send you
I
the
can
link, and you
see
can
them.
read them there. And also you can see this. So don't click on this because this is the link on the on this one.
Silly.
Nice,
Okay, I
nice.
can
Hey
see them,
there.
so I will
Oh,
lose lots of them. Please try to. Okay, now I'm seeing them.
no worries.
Probably some lag on
Cameron,
YouTube.
Vito all the way. Humble greetings, Francesco. Hey there. Speedy Aristotle. Nice.
I love it.
Okay. Please, please go on because I think this background is important because Web3 some years ago it didn't even exist. Probably it was starting, but this is something new. So we need some
Mhm.
background, and just let me say that I like your idea of working on something new, which is not always the best decision, but maybe it's the more long sight one.
I think a really core, principle of my life is leave your comfort zone. And it's not because it's something I have to force myself in doing it, but it's because after like 3 years doing the same thing, I start getting bored. And I needed a job, an environment, actually, a mindset that allowed me to change place without the fear of changes. So this is really, really very correct. Other than that, thank you, Dai. I'm glad you like my blog. And the thing, yeah, it's super important to learn that I was a VFX supervisor because this is why I first approached Web3. So after the university, after studying programming, JavaScript, all the plain stuff, standard stuff, I had a guy was my housemate. He is a 3D artist, and he told me about NFTs. And I was like, septic guy, as everyone the first time he hears about NFTs. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna spend $7,000 on a JPEG image because you rendered it, and it's just because you can say it's mine. No, I won't never ever do it. And he started investing. Actually, he started investing on cryptos. He started buying NFTs. He started talking about me about Polkadot. I started talking about Ethereum, Ether, how to work on Ethereum, smart contracts, DAOs. And I started to question myself and was like, I know nothing about this thing. But in this market, what I know, the only thing I know is that people are becoming rich because of cryptos. I know that it's a huge market, and I know that they're looking for Web3 developers. So I was like, I'm not an investor. I tried investing once, and then the pandemic came, and I lost like 7,000 euros. Not because I had to lose them, but because I was fearing to lose them, and I,
Maybe.
withdraw everything.
Yeah, you are still more lucky than a friend of mine who quit his job in January 2020 and he opened a restaurant in January 2020. So, not the best timing in the world.
Yeah, much more lucky than him. I'm so sorry for those. Lots of people suffered from this thing,
Yeah.
especially, I don't know, in the rest of the world, but in Italy, it was a total mess. Like I was walking in the street and seeing just closed shops. Lots of shops closed, but yeah, that's another whole story. Um, and yeah, I'm not an investor, but I'm a programmer. And someone asked, "Are you a self-taught programmer?" So and so. I mean, I started programming when I was super, super young. Can you hear the ambulance?
Yes, we can, but no problem.
Okay, I'm sorry for this. Nvidia is not working as expected.
Just because we are
Uh,
in a live stream, yeah.
Of course, of course, bro. The thing is that I'm not an investor. I'm a programmer. I'm a self-taught programmer. So I started self-taught. Then I went for 1 year to the university. Then I left the university because I found a job as a programmer. So I was like a bit confused. But yeah, I'm mainly a self-taught programmer for what concerning Web3. I'm a totally self-taught programmer. And then we will speak why I'm a self-taught programmer, because everyone in Web3 is a self-taught programmer. And so I said, okay, you know what? I love this crypto thing. Let me check the Ethereum documentation. And then I found out a bunch of videos from Nader Dabit. I found out videos from Eat the Blocks, found out video documentations, articles, stuff like that, and started building, putting all the pieces together. And since then, 4 months ago, I started studying Solidity and a little bit of Solana, not too much. And now I'm applying as in the Web3 space and working in the Web3 space. There's a huge thing coming up, but I can't tell much more about it.
Please, whatever it is, wish Vitto luck, because maybe we can help him just a little bit. I don't know how much you can share. You've shared something. You can share whatever you want here today, your current status. But yes, I think that I think this is something you deserve. We don't know how far you will get, but let's see. Okay, so there we are already some questions. So this is getting really, really interesting. And we already mentioned a lot of words, so probably you will not understand everything, because Web3 is not like saying Vue.js, not something that you learn, you take a course and you're done, right? So
Not yet.
but exactly, not yet. But maybe this is also an advantage, because it's so huge that inside the Web3, you can decide what you want to learn. It's like saying like development, so you can decide something. For example, I'm choosing something because I want to learn some more, but not about all the Web3 stuff at the beginning. Just focusing on something. So I think that there are already many questions. There was a question at the beginning, which probably now I hear this one. Maybe this is a good question to start. So because if there is Web 3, there should be Web 2. So for example, for Angular, that was not version 3, but considering some frameworks, they were not. But so if there is a version 3, there should be a version 1 and a version 2. I know something about this, but I'll let you talk first. And then, of course, this is just an interaction. And for example, for what I say, I'm still a student. I'm not a teacher in this. I think most of us, we are. So, yes. So remember to check everything we say. There are links. So this is just an open discussion live. So we are here really shameless, just showing our face. And feel free also to give your definition if you want in the comment, and we will highlight that. No worries. Yes, Vita. So stage is yours.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a great question. And let me start by saying that I'm reading a book about this. As Francesco said, everyone in the Web3 environment, panorama, is a student nowadays, because it's so new. So you need to learn new stuff, and everything is changing so fast. It's like being in the World Wide Web environment, panorama, in the 90s. So everything is changing, nothing works. User experience sucks. And resources to learn are like so very, very rare. And as someone said in the comments, if you find some resource, it's probably outdated because it's changing. I mean, we are at 0.8 version of Solidity. That I will talk about Solidity later on. And 3 months ago, we were at the 0.4. So this is, a huge change. But other than that, we have three eras in the web, world. And the first one, as you said, is Web 1. And it was like when you had the ability, the possibility to consume, you were a consumer, content on the internet. So there were developers mainly, or big companies, setting up a website, plain HTML, and then CSS website to tell you something. Okay. You could not add any kind of content to it. You could not contribute in any way other than consuming that content. But then 1 decade later, so it's a long time, right? We understood that users were a core part of the internet. And so we enabled them to become content creators. So we saw the rising of platforms such as Facebook, such as Instagram, such as Twitter as well. So all of those platforms, blogging platforms, WordPress, all of those platforms where you were able to create content. Now, there's a thing. Web2 has this huge issue that is communication protocols. So I don't know if you guys know how data exchange works on the web, but HTTP mainly doesn't have any status. So it brings an information from A to B, that's it. It doesn't know anything about that information other than headers and the metadata you give them. And this is a huge issue because if a creator wants to get paid, he needs to rely on third-party companies that are actually creating trust. They are actually handling the payment, ensuring that the person making the payment has the money to make the payment, that the creator is receiving the payment. And I'm talking about creators, but are actually bloggers, e-commerces, and anything that actually has some content inside, right? So to exchange value and to save data, to give status to your data, you need third-party companies usually. That can be a cloud provider, that can be a payment provider, that can be any kind of provider, but it's a company. And this is a huge issue because you can suffer from data leaks. You can suffer from there's a thing that it makes me laugh a lot. People, when talking about Web3, and now I'm coming to Web3, they tell is censorship resistant. Oh, yeah, Web3 is also censorship resistant because you don't have to rely on those third parties to store your data, to handle payments, to exchange value. So this is when Web3 came in. So when we gave the internet the possibility to maintain a status of the data. So what I mean, on the front-end side, Web3 is just like Web2. So you have your application, you can interact with it, you can do your stuff with the front end, with only one difference. You don't have a login system. There are no passwords and user ID or emails needed to log in. You only need a wallet. And a wallet is something you can create completely anonymous. And then what changes is the backend. Because what's happening is that in the backend, we're not using any more DBs or servers. We're using the blockchain and smart contracts. So whereas in the front end, you have the JavaScript, React, the old stuff you were used to use, now you use smart contracts on the back end. What it means is that you rely on the blockchain. So we should discuss about what is the blockchain. But you rely on the blockchain to save your data, and you rely on the blockchain to retrieve your data. You have tokens. Tokens are a really core fundamental part of Web3. Tokens are status, are value that can be exchanged. I can send you a token, and this token can have a value. You can send me an NFT, and it's also a token, and this NFT gets a value. And it doesn't get a value because it's just a JPEG written on the blockchain. It gets a value because it's undoubtedly yours. What I mean is that if I send you something, how do you guys know how the blockchain works? Because without knowing how the blockchain works,
we
can't go further.
a question exactly about this, which is what's blockchain. By the way, there is this poll about what's your current Web3 expertise level, and I see that 92 of the people are beginners on or Joe's no level. So we can I think we can maybe answer to a couple of questions. If you have a beginner, maybe this is amazing, by the way, Vitto. If you have some beginner question, maybe it would be better to answer to some beginner question, and then we can go on if this is okay for you.
Yeah, because complexity adds up super fast. So yeah.
Perfect. So okay, so let's start. Okay, so let's try with this one. So what's a blockchain?
A blockchain. This is a good question. Do you know Excel? Everyone know Excel. Think about having an Excel sheet and that everyone shares. So everyone is sharing the same Excel sheet. Whenever you want to insert something into this Excel sheet, it's super hard for an Italian to say sheet because you easily end up saying shit. So sorry for that.
If we lose monetization of this video, I will send you an invoice, Vitto. No worries.
Okay. So you have an Excel spreadsheet. It's easier. Spreadsheet. Every time you want to add something to this Excel spreadsheet, you have to ask anyone in the network that is sharing the same Excel spreadsheet if you can add it. And every time you add one, there is a really cool website about it. I'm going to share with you in a couple of seconds. But when you add something into this Excel spreadsheet cell, you add the transaction, so the value you want to transact. Okay, let me take a step back. The blockchain is a public ledger. Everyone can see this public ledger. And a ledger is a place where all transactions are written down. The thing is that because this public ledger is shared, everyone has a copy of it. Every time someone wants to add something on this public ledger, it has to reach consensus. Consensus is a key element of the blockchain. What I mean is that every time I want to add something, the whole network checks that transaction. And what does it check? Inside the transaction, you will see a hash value that is the fingerprint of this transaction. That is derived from the value of the transaction, the addresses used in the transaction, all the things inside the transaction. And I also want to include the hash value of the previous block. And without a visualization, this is super hard to explain. So let me grab a website, blockchain
If you
demo.
want to share your screen, just tell me.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen now.
Remember that whatever you are sharing, this will be public forever. So remember.
Okay, yeah. Share screen.
Nice.
Can you see it?
No, try to share it. There is this button share. Okay, can I share? Can I share it? Perfect. There we go.
Okay. So this is blockchain demo. This is by Anders Brownworth. And it's probably the best way to explain the blockchain to someone who doesn't know what the blockchain is. The blockchain, as said, is a public ledger, and it contains those transactions, blocks, those groups of transactions called blocks. Every block has an ID and has a nonce. A nonce is number used once. Okay, so this nonce is unique. If we add something to, as you can see, the thing is, we also have an hash, and the first block here has a previous hash of 0000000. This is because it's the first block into the blockchain, and it's called the Genesis block. But the second block has actually a previous hash that is the same as the hash of the previous block, and a new hash. Now, the hash, as said, is a fingerprint that is calculated based on the block ID, the nonce, the data inside the block, and the previous hash. So what happens if we change something inside the block? If I write something, as you can see, everything becomes red. Why that? Because my hash here has changed. So let me go back. As you can see, whenever I write something, the hash here is changing. And what happens is that the second block doesn't match the previous hash with the hash of the previous block, invalidating the whole blockchain. So every time someone wants to insert something, the whole blockchain, the whole network, checks if all the hashes match, and if so, it adds the transaction. Now, it's a bit more complex than this, but give it for granted, because now we're going to the second step. So this is a block, and this is how fundamentally works. If I go here, okay, as I was saying, everyone in the blockchain shares the same ledger. So those are free copies of the blockchain, right? What happens if I change something here? So I'm going to change something into the fifth block. and I'm gonna mine it. Sorry, I'm gonna change something here actually, and I'm gonna mine it.
Why this verb of mine?
Mine is because it should invalidate everything else anyway, but I'm gonna tell you later on. But mining is because what miners do is confirming those transactions. So what they do is they grab one of those blocks and try to guess this node. Okay. So what happens? Oh my God! Sorry for the ambulance again. So what happens is that we have a block ID. When a block is sent to be mined, they only have the data and the block, and they have an hash. They have to find a nodes that passed into the hashing function will give as a result this hash value here. And the thing is that this nonce value is nothing more than a random value, which complexity is given by the number of people into the blockchain and other values, of course. And there's no way then of guessing it than just literally throwing random numbers until you find it. And this is one thing called proof of work. So what happens is that every time I send a transaction, miners will try to confirm this transaction, trying to guess these nodes. To do it, they have to spend computational power. Can't be a concurrent transaction on the whole blockchain. I'm gonna reply to this question. But they have to guess these nodes, and to do it, they're gonna use computational power, electricity, CPU, or computational power. And this is why you also pay money, gas fees, when performing a transaction. The first one who gets the nodes wins the block reward. And the block reward is the famous, I don't know, Bitcoins or Ethereum that you get when you mine a blockchain node. Okay? Does it make sense?
Yeah. For me, it makes sense. I don't know if you can answer to this. Does this mean that there can't be concurrent transactions on the whole?
Yeah, there can
blockchain?
be concurrent transactions on the blockchain because a block is not one single transaction, but there are multiple transactions into a single block. Okay, so if I go here, as you can see here, this is a block. Inside a block, I have different transactions that are telling us, okay, this was a transaction of $25 from Darcy to Bingley. And then there was another transaction of $4.27 from Elizabeth to Jane. And all of this data together creates this hashing value. And there can be, I can't remember the precise number of how many transactions there can be into a block, but I don't think it comes down to how many transactions, but to a maximum gas amount. Because I just briefly talked about it, but miners will ask for a reward, right, when mining a block. And this reward doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes from people that have paid gas fee to send a transaction. So whenever I want, let me go to like developer DAO. Let me show you one thing. So if I go here and I want to mint my new token, I'm gonna, what? Have they changed? No, MetaMask, okay. I want to mint a new token. So let me grab a token here, 3314. I want to mint it. As you can see here, MetaMask will say that I have to pay some gas fee. At the moment, $85. Those gas fees are not used to pay for the token I'm going to mint, but are used to pay the miners. Okay, so we need to pay them. As I was saying, now Ethereum is changing, so gas fees are changing as well, because we're introducing a new thing called EIP 1599, but this is a whole another story. Anyway, yes, there can be multiple transactions in the blockchain at the same time, with a cap of 7,000, I think, on Ethereum. That's
Nice.
max. Should be max transaction max. Should be
Interesting. I see a lot of
automation. 13 transactions per second.
Wow. Let me close this one. Nice. That was it was a really great example. Would you like to go on, or can we go with some question?
The thing is, I don't really want to throw to everyone listening to this, live, too many informations all at once, because there's a lot going on. I
Yeah,
have guides. I'm gonna
yes,
share with you guides about it.
that will be amazing. Maybe okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Vito, for this live example. It's not that easy, trust me. You need to be prepared for that. Vito is preparing hard for this, and he did really an amazing job.
I hope
Um,
so.
you did. Now, this is one of my question that I wanted to ask you. This so because we are all new or almost new. There are some experts, of course, in the world somewhere, but most of us are not. So the roadmap. This is maybe for all the topics. It can be Docker, it can be JavaScript. The question that you will get more often in your DMs, if you have open DMs on Twitter, is which is the roadmap? How to learn it? How? Which steps do we have to do? Because once you know the roadmap, you can decide your own resources. You can decide your books. I think there is already maybe not that much resources, which probably is also a good sign that it's a new
Hmm.
technology idea. I mean,
Hmm.
and so for Web3, what would you recommend, or from your point of view, from your experience, what would you suggest to yourself of the past? This is a typical question.
Yeah, the most common question I actually receive about it is, should I learn Web 2 before Web 3? And the simple answer is yes. I mean, the only thing that changes is the back end. The front end will remain the same. And so learn front end development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, pick a framework. React is great. Learn Tailwind, become a front end developer. Then you might want to go through the backend part of Web 2, but you don't have to. I mean, knowing how data is transferred between systems is a great way to better understand the whole thing, the whole technology, but it's not mandatory. Once you know front end, you can start by learning Solidity. And here comes the problem. There are not much resources right now online, as someone pointed out into the comments. The biggest issue is that half of those resources, if not 80% of those resources, are outdated. So you will see yourself lots of time trying to update the informations you got, and things like that. So what I suggest, what I found to be really, really useful, are the Nader Dabit YouTube channel. He has those full stack NFT tutorial that is amazing. He has lots of tutorials, actually. The only thing is that he's not beginner friendly at all. He will give lots of things for granted, and you will have to go out and search for yourself. So from a video perspective, from a guided resources perspective, I would say Nader Dabit is great. Build Space is also great. Build Space is build, BUILD space, is a great place because they have like those cohort-based courses completely free that go out once every 2 weeks, and you can subscribe to them. And they have like build your Web3 application with Solana, build your NFT game with Solidity, build your first Web3 application. And all of those courses are amazing. First, because they will give you an NFT when you complete one of them. So if you complete the build your Web3 application with Solana, they will give you an NFT saying that you completed it. And second, because they are connected with companies working in the Web3 space. So if you complete like their courses, there's a good chance those companies will notice you and ask you to, apply for them and do an interview. And Build Space is amazing because of that. And then we have the documentations. I don't really feel to suggest any other channel because I see those are outdated.
Yeah, I know because I've also just like we can say I've taken a look at the just Solidity, not Solana, and it looks amazing. Probably I'll live stream something. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll try maybe starts from really the basics and maybe do a very long live stream, just me testing stuff. I think it's a very, I've noticed that when you work in public, you are basically forced to learn because you need to explain. There are people, even for basic questions. So this could also be a good idea. Yes. So yeah, what you say, it's interesting. About the, we can make a lot of questions. Let's see if I find some of them. But for example, for NFTs, which is a not fungible token, you can also just there are companies that now they offers you an NFT, and I've also I felt in that trap, you can say, a joke, of course. But for me, it's not about. This can also be good for an investment. For me, it's more from to step into the world. So once someone gives you an NFT, you need to know how to create a wallet. You need how to share that. So it's more about learning the process, right? And of course, maybe one of your NFTs it can make you a millionaire. But for me, it was more about learning the process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of NFTs. I'm sorry for saying this.
No worries.
Even if I'm working with Web3 technologies, I still have, troubles accepting the idea of spending 2,000 euros on a JPEG image, even if I know the technology behind it. But other than that, you're right. To step into Web3, you need to play the Web3 cards, the Web3 game. And the Web3 game is composed of NFTs, tokens, and cryptos, and DeFi, or DeFi, I think, decentralized finance. So your idea is great. I mean, do you want me to go through what an NFT is, or it's just about what do you think about NFTs?
If you want to make a super small mini crash course, or
Okay.
maybe what you know about that, it would be amazing. But it's up to you, Vitto.
Yeah, I mean, super simply put, you have two kind of tokens into the blockchain. Actually, are more now, but you have two main kind of tokens that are ERC20. That are the crypto tokens that we know, like Ethereum, Polkadot, and others. Polkadot is not ERC20, so don't listen to it. But it's just about the token. You have those money, those coins you can spend, and you can have tons of that. And we have the NFTs called, as you said, non-fungible tokens, where in the token, the crypto, so the crypto tokens, you only care about the quantity. So you want to have as much Ethereum as possible. With the NFTs, you care about the quality. So you want the best NFT. You don't really care about having 100 NFTs that have no value, because they won't grow in value. I mean, they can grow in value, but it's not, sure, and things like that. You want to have a great NFT that has a lot of value. With Ethereum, you want to have lots of Ethereum. This is the main difference. And so when you mint an NFT, you're minting a single NFT token. So you will have one amount of that token in your wallet, and it can be connected to a JPEG image, a video, or a 3D model, or whatever, but it's just this token. When we speak about token, by the way, just for everyone to understand it, we're not speaking about, placeholders or tokens in the common sense. It's just an entry into the blockchain. Okay, assigned to a wallet address. So a token is an amount or something assigned to a wallet address. Okay, this is super fundamental to understand. So those are NFTs. And yeah, other than that, yeah, no, that's it.
Hey, Mike. Glad to be here.
Mike.
I'm the famous podcaster. It is another meeting for me that just buy a pic. Now we want to know what's your meaning for for NFT. But of course, it's interesting. I see that that's related to. I've seen that related to a lot of let's say artwork. Maybe it is in some ways, but yes, let's see. So if you let's see, I think we had so many
I mean,
questions. Let's see.
NFTs as we see them today are mainly JPEG images, but tokens as we see them today are mainly financial things. Okay, But blockchain, this is a really important thing. So I want everyone to see in some way. And is that blockchain is not just about decentralized finance, making money and trading stuff and gambling. Not at all. Blockchain is actually a way to give people the way to transfer and exchange value, trusting each other without the need of a third party organization. This is the real game changer, the thing that's a game changer into the blockchain, right? It's not about the Bitcoin. We all love making monies, for sure. We all love to have an NFT that is worth 2 billions, for sure. But this is not the future of blockchain.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that at the beginning of this live stream, you were talking about the Web 2, and you said many times this word, which is third party. So that means that all the data and informations, they are centralized in a place, like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So it's the blockchain is more about a technology that you can use. Because I've also seen some people thinking about the blockchain is like Bitcoin, which is not exactly like that, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was reading the reply from Redse. Sorry for that. Just
Yeah.
off topic. You're super right about it. Apart that this is not an ERC 720, but is an ERC 1155. That is a bit different. But you're right. This is the correct way to use NFTs. What I'm speaking about is, the plain way, the default, the standard way people nowadays are using NFTs for. That is trading JPEG images, hoping that they will become millionaires thanks to their JPEGs. And we can say whatever we want, but this is the market, okay? I hope, but I'm sure, as you are, Retse, I don't think I'm saying this right. I'm sure we both know that this is not the future, and the future is like decentralized identity confirmation, where you can just store an NFT with all your data, and whenever you need to confirm your identity, you can just send an address or send a call. This is a great way to use NFTs. I'm with you.
I think that a lot of people they see NFTs just as a JPEG because since it's visual, it's something to understand easily. Like okay, so this is like buying a framework, a frame. It's like buying a picture, and you understand what does it mean to buy a picture. So this is super pretty basic stuff, but this can help people to step into what NFTs are, of course. Perfect. So go.
No, about the question that you asked before, third parties. This might sound like okay. I'm thinking about governments, cloud providers, banks, and others. So let me go through it briefly. The blockchain is nothing more than a solution for a problem we used to call trustability. So the ability to trust each other. Everything we did in our society is to ensure trust between parts. So when you ask the bank for for a payment, you ask for a loan, okay? They need the government to be sure that your identity is that identity, is the real identity, that your revenue is that revenue. When you send money to someone, you need to use the bank. You're not sending directly to someone. You send to the bank verifies that you have those money, and then if you have those money, they subtract them from your total balance and send them to the person. Whenever you need to do anything in the world, when you have to ask for a visa, you have to go to the government, ask them for your data to, say, yes, this person is called Francesco Ciulla. And you're like, yes, I know I'm called Francesco Ciulla, okay?
I've done the ISA yesterday to go to the USA, and it's a super long question. Yeah, I hope they will not arrest me, but we are that close. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we, on the other hand, okay, the blockchain. Okay, here's the thing: the blockchain, on the other hand, is trustable by architecture. Okay, so everything on the blockchain is trustable because more than 51% of the network, okay, said this is trustable. And because there are consensus mechanisms that are ensuring trustability. Now, those consensus mechanisms are a huge problem for our environment, but we are trying to solve those. But those are ensuring trust. Nice combo here, guys. Hey there. So with this trust, I can send you money without asking the bank to, confirm I have those money, because the blockchain is confirming it. And I can prove my identity, as someone asked, by, having someone or some sort of way to insert my personal data into the blockchain and give me back, I don't know, an address, a web address, as a wallet address connected to my wallet address, as we are doing today, okay, and use it as my ID provider for everything. And decide what kind of data I want to provide to other companies. Like, and you can use one single account for all social medias, because everyone has the same database and can read the same data and can get the same information, and so on and so forth. So this is the real game, the real thing about blockchain. It brings trustability. It lets the taxi driver get paid by the customer without going through Uber.
Yes, interesting.
Boom.
I'm thinking about a use case. I don't know if that fits, like buying a house. You don't know, in Italy, when you need to buy a house, which is a kind of heavy contract, we can say. I don't know how is the rest of the world, but there is this person who's called a notary, and you pay a lot of money to him to grant the trust between two people.
Yeah, I think the notary is the most Italian thing ever, because the only thing this professional does is literally reading the contract and signing it. And the thing is that his signature is a trustability, proof. And take the notary, bring in the blockchain, remove the notary, you just saved 3,000, 5,000 euros.
Yeah, I paid 3,000 euros for a garage of 15,000 euros. So I still remember that, because I was 18 when I bought that, and that hurted. That $3,000, they hurted so much that 20 years later I still suffer those $3,000 when you're 18. They are a lot. Just got Vitto.
Yeah.
We
brought a mesh.
Big fan of you. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this Vitto. So there was a question about okay, roadmap is important, but a even more basic question about Udai probably now is at his course, where to get started, because I think it's the moment when you really feel lost. Because, for example, I've studied blockchain a bit in university, but I think it was a lot of years ago. I had to start from zero, so I had made maybe a more practical approach. From my point of view, I divided this into parts: studying theory using Wikipedia, other articles, and then I had some really practical parts. For example, for Solidity development, I started really from zero. It was 1 month ago. So, what would you suggest to get started, or maybe which are the paths that you see from your point of view, from your experience? This is a very important question, I think, for everyone is here, and also for me.
That's a really good question. The cool thing, this is a cool thing. Web3 community is super small, and when a community is small, they like to get together in the same place. So if you want to enter in the crypto space and the Web3 space, you want to join probably Discord communities. So there are communities like the Alchemy community, the Crypto Devs community, and the Build Space community. All of those like crypto things, blockchain things are going to have some kind of Discord server first. Second, it really comes down on how you usually learn new stuff. Me, for example, the first week is like a total mess. I throw at myself a bunch of informations from Wikipedia, from YouTube, from blogs, documentation, and so on. And I don't understand anything. Then the second week, I start reorganizing all the information, connecting those, and then start from there. No, what I would say is that start with some easy stuff like Crypto Zombie. Crypto Zombie is a gamified Solidity tutorial where you have to create your zombie army and eat humans with Solidity. Amazing. They also introduce you to genetic programming. That is a way to encode information about something like shapes, colors, styles, or any kind of information and decode them somewhere else. So it's to bring those information without creating those huge objects. So Crypto Zombie is a great way. Then I would say probably the Nader the Beat how to create a token by Nader the Beat. Amazing video. And then as soon as you gather some information, as I always say, start building your own projects. There are crypto Discord servers like Developers DAO. You need to pay something to enter because they want you to have an NFT. The NFT is free actually, but gas fees are really, really expensive. So it might cost you around $80. But if you enter in this Discord space, they have lots of things going on, as well as an open source section where you can contribute to other projects. And this is not always just a great way to, read other people code. And this is something with a huge value, right? But it's also a way to start practicing. So once you've started practicing a little bit, you might want to watch that, as I said, Nader the Beat NFT marketplace video. And at that point, you will have read enough documentation to walk on your feet. So from there, you start reading, Open Zeppelin documentation, Solidity documentation, and work on your projects. So you might want to create an NFT marketplace. You might want to create some sort of DAO, some sort of governance token. Yeah, sure. Sorry, Mauro. Crypto devs, build space, BUILDSPACE, and developers DAO. So developers and DAO. Yeah. With that said, there are no courses. So the thing is that there is no course that will bring you from zero to hero in the Web3 space. So you have to build your own course, a bit of theory on how the blockchain works, and a bit of practice on how to build your stuff. And no mainnet, please, because the first time I deployed something on the mainnet, I lost $200 because I'm an idiot, simply, and I didn't test my smart contracts.
Yes. I think that we are still waiting for the Traversy Media crash course, but it's I think that this will take a while. But I think because I've also seen some videos, but most of them are we can say either that maybe the courses are outdated, but it's not their fault. It's that it's moving that fast that at the time that you edit, another version of Solidity will come out, and I would like to stay in the same room of the person who is about to publish that video. Yeah.
I mean, I remember this thing like in another course, and I sent him a push request because he was using the transfer function to transfer NFTs. And now, this is funny. Every time a new EIP or new protocols are rewritten or refactored, they give it a name, taking it from a famous city like Bucharest or Budapest or Rome or London. So before Istanbul, it was an EIP. Using the transfer function was great. Then someone hacked an NFT marketplace, drawing all the funds from the smart contract. And from that point, the transfer function is not anymore suggested, and you should use the safe transfer function. But no one is talking about it. You need to go to the documentation to read about it. That's the thing. And it's not because Nader didn't know it. It's just because when he did 2 months ago, he did the tutorial. It was perfectly fine to use the transfer function. So you're perfectly right.
Yeah, but I see there are a lot of questions. But so maybe, what do you think about the content creation of this part? Because when there is so few resources, maybe this is also an opportunity to also learn and in the meanwhile create some content. What do you think? Or you should not create content for people that are watching this video?
Yes, the main reason why Web3 is a golden mine is because it's so untapped, right? There are lots of opportunities, starting from content to product projects and SaaS or startups. From the content creation perspective, there is just one issue that today we ran a poll asking how many of you know something about Web3 and how to program and how to develop Web3 applications. And 60% of people were Jon Snow, not even beginners, were like Jon Snow. Winter is coming, right? Great. This is the main issue. If I write something like how to develop your NFT, or no, way better. A great content I want to write is what is reentrancy guarding? Okay, but no one knows about reentrancy guarding and why it's useful, right? Probably people from the Web3 space, they know it, but like my audience mainly doesn't know it because it's vastly, and not many people are joining Web3 now. Yes, but not many. And so the first issue is about creating content that everyone can understand. Second is creating content that anyone can replicate, because there are things that you cannot replicate because you lack funds, or because it's too big architecture and things like that. Then there is also another issue we're talking about. If you like giving people a suggestion, like how to create a smart contract, and that smart contract is faulty, so people can hack into it, it's your fault. Okay, so you need to be very careful specifying when something, it will work in production and when will not. When you do some JavaScript content, you don't have to. Who doesn't give a shit if it will work in production, right? It just, okay, this is the concept, go for it. If you want to use it in production, it's your fault. The worst it can happen is that your deployment pipeline will fail. Okay. With Web3, no. The worst it can happen is that you lose all your funds. Your smart contract gets locked, and that's it. You can't do anything about it. So this is the second issue. But writing guides, writing tutorials, YouTube channel, YouTube videos about it, Udemy courses in general, man, this is a huge golden mine. Because if I ask like here, how many of you wants an updated Web3 full stack course that will bring you from zero to hero? I mean, yes, everyone wants it. And no one is doing it because it's hard to do it.
Because I think that a lot of people are still in the studying phase, and probably in the upcoming months we will see something popping. I don't know if you will be one of them. I wish you this. If you want to do something, that I'm still open for that. Yes, so there is this initial phase, but I've also seen some friends of mine or other people who are maybe still skeptics about maybe this idea, maybe it could collapse. Sometimes there are also some jokes like, oh, let's wait for Web 5 or Web 6. Okay, that's funny. That's funny for sure. But I think, the train already passed in the 90s with the HTML and other stuff. And now another train passed, so now it's passing another train. And in Italy it's not the best place in the world when you have to wait for trains.
Especially if you're from Rome.
Yeah, especially yeah. When you have just 30 minutes, you are lucky if you are late 30 minutes. So, do you suggest, or for example, to whom do you suggest to jump into this hype train? Because maybe it's not for everyone, but to whom would you suggest this?
I don't know. It's like, to whom would I suggest to become a priest? I don't know. I mean, you have to feel the calling inside. Is jump in the darkness. The thing I know is that if you get a job in the Web3 industry, you're gonna get a lot of money. This is for sure. The thing I know is that it's a funny thing because you're putting some economy inside. Your code is like self-containing, right? Because it can handle everything. You don't need third party to handle payments. You might want to have third party stuff because you need data and stuff like that, but you don't need it. And it's a new paradigm. It's different. But I don't know. I can't know. I can do like a provision, right? But I can't know if it will work, how it will work, how long will it take to work. I don't know that. So, and also I don't know how it will look. So I suggest joining the Web3 space to anyone who's feeling the calling inside, who doesn't need a job like boom boom, because you will need some time to get up and running with Web3. If you already have a job but want to get into Web3, you might want to go step by step. Don't unleash the beast and go for Web3. On the other side, I wouldn't suggest joining Web3 to anyone who doesn't like backend development. If you don't like backend development, I know I told you don't learn backend development, but learn it because you want to know if you like this data structure thing, these more technical thing.
Or right. If by chance you already know something that could be useful, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. If you just like design, if you feel like an artist, don't join Web3. If you're doing just for money, please, okay, do it. Join Web3 because it's okay. I can tell you to not join it for money, but don't, because too many people are joining Web3 just for money, and this will bring the market being only DeFi, decentralized finance. And the next decentralized application I will see, that will be a decentralized finance application. I will start screaming because everyone is making those decentralized finance applications. And the thing is that until people will stop doing those DeFi applications, just only exclusively those DeFi applications, users that are not into the investment space won't ever join. Because this was my main problem. I'm not an investor. This is why I got late. I ran late in the Web3 thing, from my perspective. Not because it's late, but from my perspective, right? Because it's all DeFi, and I'm not an investor. But like Axie Infinity, the idea is great because it's a game, and it can bring people that are not into investing into the Web3 space. Now, Axie Infinity is unaffordable because to start it, you need like 1,000 euros. But other than that, games are another way. Yeah. If you want to bring a change, join Web3. We got cookies.
Perfect. We have tokens, we can say. Xabakissi has a question. I'm a bit afraid that can't fully remote a third party when it comes to things like a Scrum freelancer. Let's say you deliver the service and the buyer party refuses paying for it. What do you think?
You can't. Because the thing is that as soon as with Web3 technologies, as soon as someone, hire a freelancer, the payment is sent to the smart contract, hold into the smart contract. And as soon as the freelancer finishes the job, the value locked in the smart contract will be released and sent to the person that needs to receive it. So it's everything automated, and you can't really hamper it in any way. You send the money into the smart contract, you lock the money there. If the freelancer or the client doesn't, the freelancer doesn't do the job, the money are sent back to the customer. If the freelancer does the job, the money are sent to the freelancer. Simple as that.
Thank you. We have this question by the Vasu podcast. Oh, now I'm curious about this podcast. How to contribute to open source projects in Web3 space? Or maybe we can ask, do you know any open source project in the Web3? Or which one do you think?
I'm going to send you an amazing link.
You can send me in the private chat or in Twitter, and I'll share it.
It's called Gitcoin. And Gitcoin is like open source for Web3 developers. You contribute and you make cryptos, because everything you do on Web3 makes you cryptos.
Let me show this link. I hope they will be happy. Yes. Millions in open source. Private
Your
fund.
question is perfectly correct. I didn't go through the nitty gritty stuff of that smart contract. You would need some kind of logics to approve that smart contract. The job the freelancer has done. You would need a lot of logics into that smart contract. It's not just about sending value, locking value, retrieving value. I'm simplifying stuff. Otherwise, it would become a tutorial. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Doesn't work. So Graham doesn't work. If the work is not up to standard, how do you prove the job is complete?
Yeah, that's a good point. Just because I was simplifying too much, probably. You need ways to ensure stuff. This is where the complexity of the blockchain comes in, right?
But you
ways.
And you still need to work. This is a point, I think, important point.
Yeah.
Yes, nice. Great topic. Thank you. Check it. Nice profile picture. I love that.
You might want to add, like, what comes to my mind is adding governance tokens. This is a decentralized environment, so you want people to help you out, right? You might want to create some sort of governance token that gives some people the ability to evaluate the job done by the freelancer, and they all vote, like approving or declining the job. And if you approved and the job is approved, then you get some coins back. And if you decline and the job is declined, then you get some coin. I mean, there are ways. So can say I'm done, but me as a service body expect something different. No, you can insert reviewers. It's a decentralized environment. You don't have only a single entity, but you need to act as a single entity, right? You need to find ways to bring the actors of this transaction all together to verify your transactions.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. I was also thinking about this question. Hey, Reze, having your background in VFX and in entertainment, how do you see Web3 on games entertainment? Let me see, the Reze Studio she's a great fan of Unity 3D. We will do something together one day. And she also has a YouTube channel. So she, as you can see, she always says something related to Unity 3D or games, which I think is great to give our point of view about this new word.
Yeah. Can I say it in Italian? Una bomba. It's amazing. Okay. Because the thing is that the guys from web3.js are developing the Unity Sdk. So what is going to happen is that you can, at the moment, just read. You can read from the blockchain. You can check if someone has an NFT or not, what kind of an NFT, get the URI and things like that. So what I think is that blockchain gaming is amazing. Think about creating your Super Mario character and get one of 1,000 NFTs with Super Mario inside. And people from all companies or indie developers as well, can create games built around that Super Mario NFT and play with it in different games. Because it's just an NFT in the same database that everyone is sharing. So you might think about creating different companies. Think about it. Different companies creating different games around the same lore, the same story. Because if you collect items in one of those games, you can bring those items in other games.
Yeah, this is basically the word of crossovers.
Yeah. I mean, you can do whatever you want. We were working. Okay, this is not so top secret, but do you remember Beyblades?
Of course, I played with that with my brother. Of course.
That's the thing. Think about it. NFTs are Beyblades. You can exchange, dismount Beyblades, and with AR, you can play against someone else online.
Nice.
I mean, we bring exchange of goods inside games, but for real. It's not like World of Warcraft, where you had like the sword and you give me the boots. Not anymore. It's like I give you $100 and you give me your Beyblade.
There we go.
Yeah, Beyblade is awesome.
I think you're on point, and I think you have a new fan. Nice. I love algorithm. Ronit Panda either. I love algorithms of social media apps that run with ML machine learning models on huge data sets. If the data is decentralized, then how to apply machine learning? How to apply machine learning if the data is decentralized?
Right, much easier. It's much easier. You have complete access over all the data. All the data, literally all the data. You can train on all the data everyone has ever created. You don't need to buy data sets from anyone. You can just go on Etherscan, grab all the smart contracts you need, and get the data from those smart contracts. It's the free world.
Yeah, and we have seen that the decentralized applications or whatever it is, usually they work way better than centralized stuff. So yes, I think it's more about the switch of mindset maybe. But I think that once we remove, and I think the blockchain will play a big role in this, when we will remove the level of complexity or getting something decentralized, it's like the idea of microservices instead of monolith applications. So when we really decentralize the logic, that's the hard part. Everything will become easier. That's the idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the world of open source, where a single problem is only solved once. Is the world where everyone collaborates not to, protect their data, but sharing their data, because everyone is sharing their data, so everyone can get that data and build up on top of that instead of starting from scratch over and over.
And I think it says the same logic, like if, for a company, like having everything secret or being open source, create some API for the company is not the same concept. I don't want to confuse people, but it's a similar mindset. The more you share, the more you get. This is also applied on social media, of course. Yes. How much time will it take to get an internship as a Web3 developer if I come from non-tech background? I want the exact number of days, Vitto, now.
This is the question I really can't reply. If you too many variables, right? I don't know how fast are you at learning new stuff. I don't know if you have any kind of background in tech. I mean, not background as a developer, like turning on computers, okay? Just opening web browsers. I don't know that. I don't know if you have never done anything with tech, do not jump into Web3. As said, start with Web2. There are plenty of jobs in Web2. Now that Web3 is coming out, everyone thinks that there are no more jobs in Web2. There are plenty of jobs, well-paid jobs in Web2. Start with it, learn the basics, learn your stuff, React, develop your centralized applications with database and servers behind. Then think about moving to the Web3 industry. But with non-tech background, reading the Solidity documentation, nah. No, it's not something I would really suggest. So I would say something around from 1 to 2 years.
I think, yeah, of course. I think it's more about your goal. So, for example, if you already have if you already have a job, and I don't know, after dinner, instead of watching Netflix, you want to take a look at the Solidity documentation because you are curious about that. Nobody is going to stop you. Maybe what we do saying, like, don't just quit your job and start learning Solidity if you don't have not taking a background, because you can get stuck. Of course, it depends on who you are. It depends if you have dogs, children, partner, how much time do you have in your life, because we are all busy all the time. So we have always some stuff to do. Maybe what can I suggest is to maybe find a time during the week or the day, even 30 minutes. It's like exercising. If you dedicate like 20 minutes of your day and then you learn this, I think you will get a lot of benefits without struggling yourself and down, like burn all the other courses and just working on that.
Yeah, for sure. The time you have plays a huge role in it.
Yeah, so it's more about the mindset. Sorry, not about the mindset of staying curious. Maybe dedicate some time on that, and of course, this is not just about Web3, but connect with people, network with people. If you're interested, for example, a good idea would be to follow Vitto. I'll post the link soon as I share. Of course, this will be a good idea. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want me? I saw a question that I would like to reply. That is from a Reconciled. He's asking, "What's my vision of the future of
This
the blockchain?" Yeah.
future of blockchain prevision, and we are on live on YouTube. So whatever you say, if that's wrong, people will hunt you forever. Yeah.
It will be decentralized. That's my provision. No, to be honest, it's so hard to do a provision on blockchain because things are changing so fast. First of all, we're seeing, okay, this is a cool thing. Ethereum is launching the EIP 1559. This will completely change how gas fees are calculated. So this will automatically lowers prices, helping more people join into the Web3 space, the DeFi, decentralized stuff environment. For sure, we will see much more user-friendly applications. Nowadays, to start using an application is not user-friendly. You need to go buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum. Sorry, you need to go register a new wallet, buy some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, move to the decentralized application you want to use. I'm thinking about Axie Infinity. Go there, buy one Axie, pay gas fee, understand what gas fees are. I mean, there's some complexity going on. So it will probably become much more user-friendly. I hope it will start becoming adopted by more not early adopters people, more less tech-savvy people. But I don't think it will happen anytime soon, like before 5 years. But I might be wrong. I don't know that. We will see a rise in blockchain gaming. We will see a new blockchain marketplace, games marketplace, because Steam banned those. We will probably start using, yeah, that's the thing. Probably we will start using the blockchain before through a bank provider, like banks accepting Bitcoins with your card and being able to pay with Bitcoins, like you can do with a crypto card. The crypto.com card allows you to pay with cryptos, but they're actually translating those into dollars at the same time you're paying. So you're not using cryptos, you're using dollars, but you're effectively using a crypto wallet. Okay, so those like middlewares between the Web 2 and Web 3, Web 2.5 world, and then fully decentralization. But I don't know when.
Yes, I see. And so, what's the topic of your upcoming blog or blog post, or are you posting a new blog?
Thank you for asking this question. I'm finishing writing the complete NFT tutorial updated to this month. So it's not better than any other full NFT marketplace tutorial you will find on the web, but it's at least updated to yesterday. So it will walk you through how to create your NFT smart contract, how to create your NFT marketplace smart contract, how to deploy everything on Polygon, and how to create the front-end application using Web3 Alchemy.
Interesting. I can be very interested into that, and I can read that and maybe try to do the article live. I don't know. Do you like this idea?
Yeah. If you want to do something live, I have another article that I'm writing for, I can say who, but it's about how to calculate the new gas prices based on the new IIP 1559.
Nice.
1599. So because gas fees are not anymore the same, you can't really just use dot get gas fees, because in that way you're gonna get much higher gas fees, and you can calculate those based on base tip and priority fees that are the new way of calculating those. So this is another article you might want to, because the NFT marketplace is like a 4 hours work. So unless you want to do like a very long live, and I hope so, might be a bit tedious.
Yeah, but if I would have more time, I would like to be the Enrico Mentana of the live streamers. Enrico Mentana is a famous journalist, more famous for his marathons, of course, about journalism. And it's time to learn Web2. I think you should not feel guilty or feeling overwhelmed, because this is a very common sensation. Like if you open Twitter, everybody is going to work on Google. Everybody has done at least 1 million startup. Otherwise, you are a failure. And yeah, right, because maybe it can be true, but maybe not 100%. Maybe they were like I don't know, like just cleaning the room of a startup who made like $1 million, and now they are in that startup. Probably that would be nice, but it's important just to focus on your path, of course, especially if you're super young. If every transaction function execution has a gas fee, then how to build a social media on top of blockchain? Will it cost to upload a photo? Probably yes.
Yes. The thing is that what I showed you were Ethereum gas fees that are by far the highest on the market, and that can reach up to 1,000 gas fees on a simple transaction. But if you use L2 chains such as Polygon, or you go full Solana, gas fees are actually very, very low, like not even 1 cent. So don't rely on what I showed you 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. But yes, if you go to Steemit is a cool social network.
Nice. But I mean, now maybe we are not paying money, but we are paying with our data. So when we are on social media, we are paying with our information. So maybe this is a good question, by the way, because maybe for us it would be so strange to pay something to upload a photo, but then maybe that photo also it starts to gain a value. So we can also, for example, I don't know, do something, monetize that in a way better way. Think about how many, I don't know, like viral picture you have posted on Twitter. Maybe you just got some likes and that's it. But think about if you can monetize your viral pictures or your viral tweets. That would be, I think, a nice idea. The cost isn't the thing. Is latency not an issue on decentralized apps? Surely there is a time cost to blockchain work. Is there a time cost to blockchain work? I don't know exactly what do you mean, Graham.
It. I'm not sure. Like if you're asking if costs aren't an issue, but latency is.
I don't know. Say the cost. Say it's not about the cost, but about maybe time cost. I don't know exactly what do you mean, Graham. Yeah, but we can keep going.
Gas fees are a very hard issue. Not issue, but it has lots of knobs. Okay, because you need to optimize your smart contracts to lower gas fees, but because IAP is coming out, those gas fees are changing as well. And then you have L2 chains that will lower those prices. Then you have other ways to lower those prices again. I mean, this is where the Web3 complexity relies, is not in the code itself, because Solidity is pretty easy. Rust is not, but talking about Ethereum development, Solidity is pretty easy. And it's more about security optimization and, scalability.
Nice. Interesting.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's longer, but it really depends. Like if you use Polygon, it's faster. If you use Solana, it's faster. If you use plain Ethereum, it's slow as hell.
But
you're right.
But let me say you something. Maybe also the DB 50 years ago they were not that fast. So maybe we also optimize the process. So maybe now we are comparing the end of Web 2 to the beginning of Web 3. It's like when you compare like electricity car 30 years ago or 20 years ago. So, but it's more maybe about the future. We are talking about what maybe it will be. We hope to predict something useful in about 5, as you said before, 5-10 years. Yeah.
100%.
Vitto, this is really an amazing episode. If you want to say something to conclude, we are way more way far beyond the 1 hour, but I see that there are still people here very interested. So I really enjoyed this so much. My only concern is that now I want to keep doing something with you. If you want, we can just keep in touch. Please wish Vitto best luck for what is about. I don't know if you can share something or not. Maybe you can share this on Twitter. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I can't
Yeah.
yet share why,
Okay.
what, who, but it's huge. It's huge.
Nice,
I will
nice,
surely
nice,
do it
nice.
if it works.
And we will share this exact video, hopefully, with a good response. So yes, yes, probably we can make this would be a good idea to make another collaboration if everything goes right. So we'll say, did you remember
Absolutely.
what we said in that last live? Just last question, if you can, Vito. Tell
Yeah.
me when you have to go, but thank you for staying a bit longer
No
because
worries.
I was really interested. How to avoid bad content, terrorism, stuff on blockchain based on social media. If anything on blockchain is irreversible, then how to remove that piece of content?
You can't. I mean, it's the free world where free means literally free. You might like that kind of freedom, you might dislike that kind of freedom, but anyone can do anything. The only way to do so would be like a front end check. Okay, let me say this thing just to conclude. I don't think that nowadays full decentralized systems is a viable solution, because there are too many limits, like the one you're saying, running, like latency, like scalability, costs, security issues, and so on and so forth. What I think, though, is that it will be in the future. So fully decentralization will be possible in the future. But nowadays, the only thing that is possible to serve a great user experience is hybrid decentralization. That it means putting a middle layer between your backend, smart contracts backend, and your front end, that it might be a server. Okay, but you might not want to save like really reserved data, secret data of your users. The words doesn't come to my mind, but yeah, that kind of data. But you want to like perform some kind of check, like on the content, some kind of batches to send everything to the blockchain and reduce costs. So there are a bunch of ways to do so. That's why, yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm really bullish
yeah,
as well.
but also you can think about we had the same issues like in the 90s. Like everybody can share now, I don't know, naked pictures on internet. Probably some of them they do, but I think that usually when things are public, they're even more maybe harder also to it's they are easier. What I wanted to say, they are easier maybe to check if everybody's looking at them. They can isolate some of them in some ways. So we will see. Maybe we will have a mechanism. I think that when we need something, someone will invent that. So if we will be full of this problem, someone will find a solution. As you said, maybe something that can can block something. So we will
Yeah,
have
I
some
mean,
a way.
you might have a passive, like an active way of finding those kind of contents, like leaving the people publishing those kind of contents, and then users can flag those contents. And if a certain amount of flags reports is reached, then that person will lose access to the platform, for example.
Yeah, and of course, but at least we are. At least there is more freedom. So it's not someone who's deciding like, okay, we will not show this because, yeah, that's a sense of yes, it could be censorship. Yes,
Yeah,
so
resistant,
nice.
censorship resistant.
Yeah, Web3 is like dark web. Do you have
Yes,
other
but with
interesting?
cookies.
Nice. Vito, we are about to hit 1 hour and a half, so we need to stop because I want to let you go for the rest of your job. I also have some stuff to do. So yes, so Vito, very last message to people who would like to get started, and we can close this. Thank you so much for staying.
My
And
pleasure. My pleasure. And every time I have a call with you and a live with you, I always like surprised by the amazing community you have behind. And this is the best thing. It looks like you're at home with your friends, speaking all together, hosting a space and exchanging ideas. And I love this thing. Other than that, about me, what can I say? I will continue publishing Web3 stuff. And in the last week, actually, I've been a little bit less active on Twitter, and my engagement is suffering about it. But it's because of this huge thing that's happening. So I'm a bit, off of Twitter for good reasons. But I have, if you want to check out my blog, I'm publishing posts there, like the Web3 complete roadmap, how to develop your first decentralized application, now publishing the NFT marketplace stuff, and that's it.
Yeah, and I published a video this morning exactly about this topic. I said like October has been I think the most productive month of my year, and also the month that I stayed less time on social media. Coincidences? I think not, because we should use social media for our interest, for what finds our job opportunities, but not just share just something on social media just for the sake of sharing and make those social media rich, and that's it. So this is a very important part. So since Vitto needs some help, please connect with him on Twitter, like his tweets. So let's give a hand each other, because it's important. I don't know you, but also I still don't have a team working for me. It's just me waking up and doing some stuff. So
and grinding every
find
day.
some collaboration. Exactly. So thank you everybody for sharing. Hey Matthias.
Hey, Matthias. Thank
Graham.
you.
Graham is also super active in our 4C community. Awesome. Maybe you've seen him there. Perfect. We are done. Vitto, thank you so much. Let's keep in touch. And yes, perfect.
Thank you, my captain.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye. Ciao. Wait a second.